In this video, I'm going to explain edge tracking, which is a useful technique to improve your tracking. To understand edge tracking, we have to understand that tracking is hard because you have to be able to control your mouse while following along with the target the entire time it's moving. The hardest part about tracking is reacting when your target changes directions. When you're tracking, you shouldn't be assuming that your target's going to change directions unless you know exactly where it will change directions. Instead, you should be assuming it will go on for its current path infinitely and then react when it switches, because otherwise you'll end up predicting wrong switches and end up with your crosshair off the target all the time. Edge tracking makes this a lot easier, but before I can explain how, I gotta say that I'm getting really close to 1,000 subscribers and I'd really appreciate it if you could help me get there. Now, edge tracking is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. You leave your crosshair on the edge of the bot so that when it switches direction, you have more space to react. Notice how in the video, as the bot switches directions, I don't have to move my crosshair at all to keep up with it. Instead, the surface area of the bot just keeps me on target as it switches directions. Had I not tracked the edge, the second the bot switched directions, my crosshair would have been thrown off it and it would have been impossible for me to compete on a scenario like this one, where the leaderboard requires 99% accuracy just for top 500. However, there are also disadvantages that come with edge tracking. If your aim shakes a little, or the enemy or the bot speeds up a little bit, you'll fall off the target and start missing shots. In a game like Apex, that's a death. In a competitive KovaaKs leaderboard, that's a run that just got ruined. So a lot of times you do actually want to avoid edge tracking. To practice for when edge tracking is really useful, I'd recommend doing two things. The first is just to do it on an easier scenario, just practicing the thing you're practicing. But I'd also recommend center tracking a harder scenario. Because think about it, all edge tracking is focusing on a small section of the main target. That's basically just tracking a harder target, but with the benefits I described earlier. I hope this helps you either get high scores or improve in game. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more.